for a change.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Analytics are for the Nerds. We are entering week 11, and we've got a lot to talk about. We've got a great show ahead. The Ship Chasing Podcast guys are here, so let's go.
Pick it up. You see the drippy, I'm fitted up. Hop in my car and the giddy up. Secure the bag, yeah, I get the bus. Pick it up. You see the drippy, I'm fitted up. Hop in my car and the giddy up. Secure the bag, yeah, I get the bus. Pick it up.
Lovely. Great job. You're almost there, Lou. You're almost
I think I nailed it that time. There was only a half-second delay. I think I got pretty close that time.
We saw each other a bunch this weekend. We were just being two sports dudes there. I saw you at the Sabres game and the Bills game. No Ryan this week. No. Sorry, no.
I had my time with you guys individually the previous week, so we had to take a little time.
This is important. This is important. I don't know if you're just saying that to just make small talk. I know I saw you at the Sabres game.
Yeah.
Did we see each other at the Bills game? I was on a lot of mushrooms. So, are you just making that up, or do I need
the police scanner? The police scanner was some guy doing the Dougie.
Okay, I'm not sure if that happened, but I do remember seeing you at the Sabres game. That was fun. Yes, a lot of fun Buffalo stuff to talk about in this episode when we bring on our guests. But
big
for
week
right now,
for Louis.
For right now, can we talk about me a little bit?
Yeah. We had a Bills game, we had a Sabres game, and then Louis went from number 1 to number 42 in the BBM.
It's fine. We're all fine. There's 4 weeks left. I'm getting Achan back. I'm getting Kyron Williams back. Howell
and the $2 million that you just lost from going from 1 to 4.
One is a way bigger, different price point than 42. But I've been hanging around here all year, so I'm starting to feel pretty confident. We have last year's champion on today, so maybe I can ask him where he was for the whole year to know what my chances are. But no, I'm feeling whatever. I could be being at number 1 makes 42 so much shittier. If I was at 42 in if you told me I was going to be here in week 11, I'd be ecstatic. But because I was kind of hanging around the top there for a little bit, this hurts a little bit, but it's not like I not used to disappointment.
Right. So let me get Ryan's little bet on this because Ryan, you're very good, especially in your dynasty league. Do you think Pat, who is coming up, do you think he was at number 42 at all? I'm going to say no. I feel like he probably was top 5 all.
He might have been. Look, it's a tough week. We had a lot of Cowboys and Lions going off this week, and so I mean it's only a matter of time though. Next week you could have an entirely different cast of characters that go off. So hang in there, Lou. Jackie Robinson's number is 42. It could be worse. So there you go. Look on the bright side of things.
I'm excited.
Achan, there we go.
That's it. I did order. I think I told you guys I ordered an Achan jersey on a Chinese website, and I'm gonna get it by next year's BBM tournament. I just keep on updating the shipping, but it's not. It's stuck somewhere.
Also, the name on the back is going to be the pronounced name of Achan. It's going to be A-Chan. It's not going to actually have his last name.
Exactly. That's so great.
Well, good luck with your asbestos. There you go. But so we're moving on to our listener contest. Listeners, please like and subscribe on YouTube. If you do that, you have a chance to be our 4th square in a draft that we will do, and you can be on the podcast. What is more to life than that, right, everyone? So like and subscribe on our YouTube channel, and thank you for listening.
That's cool. Let's
bring on Ben and Pat. Welcome, guys, from the Ship Chasing Podcast. Hi, and I guess we're gonna go right in. Pat, what place were you in week 11 when you?
I have no idea because I finished second in my league, so I wasn't high. Wasn't high.
Right. I thought that story. Yeah, I thought that was story. You didn't go in like very high at all, right? Like going into the championship round.
Oh,
No, the trick. Here's how you win Best Ball Mania. This I shouldn't be telling you this, but what you do is you score the 3 highest scores that the team has put up the whole season. Make those weeks 15, 16, and 17. You'll win the whole thing.
There you go.
Simple.
You heard it here. So easy.
What's your top team sitting at right now? Both of you guys. You guys have any like?
I'm at like 1800 ish. It's not. Yeah, I'm way behind Louis.
Loser.
I'm also in that range. I think I was like 2300 or something. So yeah, same range.
Michael Jordan 100. Okay.
I want to know. I guess I'm starting to feel more confident now, right? We're through weeks 11, but like when I was riding the early like top 5 for the first like half of the year, I didn't know if I could get excited. And now like the last 2 weeks have been, I want to say, pretty bad weeks. I mean, I lost Stan, I lost Iron. I took, and to just fall back to 42nd, like I'm like, man, a couple big weeks, I might get right back up there. So I think I'm live. You know.
Achan feels you're always gonna feel alive if you have Achan coming back. That dude, he's first in like every single rushing metric.
And that's the whole thing. Like, how many teams survived his injury? Like, I'm thinking I might be kind of higher up there because I don't know how many of those.
Have you clicked on all 41 teams ahead of you to figure out how many have Achan?
27 times today. Like, just hoping that they change. You know. Real quickly, we're gonna get into the show, but I have to tell you guys the story because I don't know if I didn't tell Pat the last time you were on, but watching one of your podcasts recently reminded me of it. So when you guys had Shope on for one of the ship chasing ones, he had mentioned me here and what I was doing in BPM, and like literally within like 5 seconds, Pete was like, "Oh yeah, and you also had Barry Noyce." Like he like went right to Joe. Like literally, I was like, "Listen, can you just give me a little bit? You're fucking right. You guys love this dude. He's the drunkest guy I've ever met in my life." And this dude I had 3 seconds of fame on your guys' podcast, and it's like, you know what? You got Joe, and let me tell you the story about Joe. As Ryan knows about this, I met Joe through Mike. Mike invited me into a league that Joe was running, and he was like, "Listen, you should come to this thing. The league is awesome. The draft is horrible." He goes, "I just want to warn you, you're going to be there all day." That's where I actually met Ryan's like 4 or 5 years ago. Come in, there's literally strippers at this fantasy draft. He's hammered by like the second round. Like literally, we got there at 11 in the morning. By 5 o'clock in the afternoon, we had auctioned off like 22 players. And he is like laying back on a chair with a stripper on his lap, saying, "Don't worry, guys. We're going to get through this." I was like, and then I can't even tell you what that message board was. Whatever the worst message board you guys were ever on in your life in a fantasy league, that was Joe. Like, it was unreal. So needless to say, I took a step back from that league, never went back. And we got a lot of good stories. It's not like we had a falling out, but this is hilarious. This last year in Vegas, we see him, he's with you guys and whatever. I see him. I didn't even know he was going out there. We talk, we shoot the little shit. Me, Adam Krautler, some guys go to like the Gucci Mane concert, get hammered. I get talked into by this 22-year-old girl to take her to after hours because, what else was I going to do at 4 o'clock in the morning when somebody showed me attention? So I go to after hours, get a $1,500 bottle of Grey Goose. Within 20 minutes, I'm like, I need to go to sleep. I'm tired. I'm out of here. Whatever. And who's in the fucking club just 2 feet away from me, just dancing? Is Joe by himself? I go, Joe, you got to come here. I go, listen, I don't want to waste this bottle. I just spent $1,500 on it. I need to go to bed. It's yours. It's yours. And I let him have it, and I went to the bed. I woke up to 37 text messages from him going, Louis, you gotta answer your phone, man. They took the bottle away. They think I'm stealing it from you. And, like, they literally came and stole the bottle from him because they thought he just like ran over and like stole my bottle of Grey Goose that I left. Sorry, not just, but I had to tell that story because you guys know him, but I think you just know him from some stories. I had to let you in on the real.
Well, listen, I mean, none of this rings false at all. I mean, the way we know him from this past year is him not being at the high stakes draft that we were in with him. Is he was at the pool talking up some girl, and then he's
at a different hotel, not the pool where the draft is. At a different hotel.
And he's on his way out the door, and then he said he stopped, and he was like, "Oh, you're bad." And then that was another 20 minutes, and we're just sort of like on the phone with Joe, like, "Joe, what's your pick?" And he's like, "George Pickens in the second round," and then somehow that kind of worked. It's nuts.
Oh, that's great.
While he was in an Uber over, they couldn't get a hold of him. The people running the draft, so we were calling him to get his picks to tell. It was bad, man.
That's great. To stick up for him a little bit, that next day after the whole Gucci Mane debacle and after hours thing, I woke up to my phone off and I had missed the main event that I had with FFPC. But now listen to this. I don't even know if I should be saying this on the podcast.
You went to bed. You can't go to bed and then miss a main event, dude. You should have stayed up and drank if you were going to miss the main event.
I should have. But this is great. Wrong. So maybe I shouldn't admit this, but they gave me a proxy because they love me. And so one of the guys knew how I drafted. He was there for like 3 or 4 drafts. He's like, I'll step in for him. I got there in round 12. Finished off the draft. That team is sitting in first place in that league.
Oh my god!
So, like, here's the question: is like, what do I pay him? What do I give that dude if it wins
most of the money?
Yeah, I think you're in a 50-50 split situation minimum.
You're managing this guy's team.
That's so bad. All right, I'm sorry. We can move on and actually talk about football if you want, Ellie. Go ahead and lead us into the way you want.
No, I just want that guy to reveal himself, who is the rightful owner of your money. Let's talk about Sunday's disaster in Buffalo, the Monday Night Football game. I think we all kind of know that there is a new offensive coordinator in Buffalo now. It's our former QB coach, Joe Brady. And I'll give it off to the Buffalo guys first, and we'll talk about how painful that game was.
So that game was just a comedy of errors right from the start. Okay. We have James Cook fumbling on the first possession, getting benched like this is some high school football team that he needs to be taught a lesson. Despite being the most electric back on the team, you have an interception that goes right through Gabe Davis's hands. Then there's one that's clearly on Josh. And, the game, you still, at the end of the game, right, you have the opportunity to go ahead and win that. 12 men on the field penalty, just inexcusable from the coaches, and ultimately leading to the firing of Dorsey. A lot of, I think, people look at this situation and they'll say, well, it's reactionary, right? This is a tire fire. Why could you make this decision now? It wasn't the offense's fault, but that's not really why this decision is being made. I mean, if you're following along with this team for the past, going even back to last year, there's just not been that same clicking, on offense. I know there's been inopportune interceptions and turnovers that have really killed drives. There's been a lot of bad luck. There's a lot of things that are outside the control of a coach or even of a player in a certain respect, right? But I think a change needed to be made. And I think that the play designs were largely uninspiring, and that Josh maybe needs someone to, not necessarily rein him in, because his best attribute is his ability to improvise and to make these big flash plays. But, to put his teammates in better positions to succeed, get them open. Some of these route concepts that we're running, I think are overly complicated. He needs to simplify it. Josh is missing things that we've seen him do in the past. So, all things considered, I think it was a move that needed to be done. I think some of the finger needs to be pointed at McDermott. But he has now about 7 games left, right, this season to essentially, not necessarily save his job. He might have that security given that he signed a contract extension before the season started. But he's certainly going to be on the hot seat after, acquiring all this talent and certainly underperforming this year.
Any take on Diggs's brother calling out how Diggs should leave Buffalo? Do you guys see that tweet?
Yeah, that's stupid and dumb, and that just comes with Diggs. And again, I'm done listening to like the whole Diggs narrative. He's only a competitive person. Like, I don't think he's sitting here making. Nothing he's doing is being diva. There's a million things going on with the Bills right now that we don't really need to discuss on this podcast. But as far as fantasy goes, there's a lot to still like. And I think just the upside of with just a little bit of a change here could be huge. I mean, they're not inefficient. They've been super efficient, and just the turnovers are killing them. So I think that the only thing I worry about a little bit here that I want to see a game or two is that I think McDermott might try to control Brady a little bit and get into kind of like a running game. And that might mean a little bit Fournette. Like, I'll tell you right now, like the game, I've said this last 2 weeks and they haven't made him activated, but the day that they activate Fournette, from that point on till the end of the season, he will have more points than James Cook. I just think that that's how McDermott is. I think he's going to try to rely on the veteran, and with Cook's fumbling issues and such. So I'm excited to see that, but I don't think as far as like Josh and Gabe and, all the skill positions, I don't think you're going to see any kind of drop off. If anything, you're going to see a pretty big spike. Did you say you're excited to see Fournette outscore James Cook? I mean, that's a take, but are you excited for that? I'm not. I don't want to say excited for it, but I want to think that that's happening. Now, Cook is very, very talented. He is having trouble with the ball, but like Ryan said, like this coach McDermott, come on, man. When he fumbles it right back to himself. Like, yeah, and then goes for 4. I don't. It was a bounce pass. He's basically playing basketball. He's playing 2 sports at once. What are your thoughts as far as what they're going to be doing going forward? Pat, sorry. Well, I wanted to bring up. You mentioned Diggs. I mean, do you guys ever see that video when he was with the Vikings, and they asked everyone in the locker room like who they would least want to date their sister, and every single Viking was like Stephon Diggs. Dead serious.
But ask all the sisters, and we'll be like, we'll date Diggs. So like that's
well, maybe that's part of the reason why, right? That's sort of the dynamic we're talking about.
Yeah, that's 100% a thing with Diggs, but I don't know. I want to stick up for him and say that he's just a competitive soul, and that there's been a lot of shit here. Josh had
Diggs is the man. I love Diggs.
Yes,
Josh had some off-season like real drama that we've talked about plenty on this podcast. There's a lot of stuff going in. I think we have an outdated coach, and it sucks because he's like Ryan said, he could go 0-7 the rest of the way. He's not losing his job. He's just got security here. He ended the drought. He brought to the playoffs 4 or 5 years. He's gonna get through this without getting fired. I just want to see him realize that his best weapon is Josh Allen and a crazy Josh Allen. Let him go and run the ball. They're obviously trying to hold him back to protect their investment. He's not getting any designed runs anymore. Like let Brady come in and just do everything he wants. And I bet you that Josh, obviously goes off here if he gets a little bit of freedom.
Yeah, bring Dable and Leslie Frazier back. That's what I think.
I wouldn't mind seeing Dable back. That's for sure.
Simple fix. Any other hot takes on this?
Ben, you really didn't. Yeah, Ben, you really didn't talk. What are you thinking goes down the stretch there, Ben?
Oh, I mean, I think the Bills are still a really good team. They're still performing really well. The turnovers have been the big issue. They have lost games more than been beaten, right? Someone mentioned to me, Kevin Cole does his, like analytics adjusted box scores where he looks at like predictive factors, success rate, a lot of these various things. By his metrics, with these adjusted score lines, the Bills will be 10-0. Like they've won each game essentially, but they're losing because of the
I think he
turnovers,
still has them
etc.
third in his power rankings, which try to attempt to like do a neutral field spread for each team.
And so you have a lot of people that are saying, yeah, they've played this really easy schedule. They're only 5-5. They have this really difficult schedule coming up. Well, if they only went 5-5 against this weak schedule, what are they going to do against this much harder schedule? It's not that simple, right? Like they shouldn't have been 5-5. They are still an elite team, in my opinion. They're not what their win-loss record says they are. And they are good enough to actually go on a run against a really tough schedule. But it is trickier now from the simple fact of you've banked 5 wins in 10 games. You probably have to go, you got to go 5-2 just to finish 10-7, right? You got to go 6-1 against this really tough schedule to get to 11-6. 10-7 might not be good enough in the AFC. Like you're in a tough spot. 4-3 is probably not going to get it done. You're probably not going to be in the playoffs if you go 4-3 down the stretch, and you have you got to beat a really good team to not go 4-3 because they got, who do they have? They have the Eagles, they have the Chiefs, they have the Cowboys.
Yep.
Cowboys. Yep.
Dolphins.
Dolphins.
You got to beat 2 of them and all the other games, which they'll beat the Patriots. They're better than the Chargers, like the other games they have. But, I mean, they got to go 5-2. They got to go on a run. I kind of think they're going to do it. I think they're going to play mad. I think the dig stuff's overblown, too. Tough matchup this week, but, I mean, like –
I know this is the worst matchup for them to have to like test out a new offense, right? Like, I mean, the Jets are going to make anybody look bad. So it's going to be that week where, like, especially in a small town like Buffalo, everyone's going to be like, oh, they fired the wrong guy because
didn't they fire the wrong guy? Like, this is the part where I don't understand. Like, you can talk about, the offense, and is the offense like awesome? Like, no, like, I mean, it kind of is in some metrics, but I understand like the larger picture of like this offense is underperforming what it could be doing, and it never seemed to be quite as impactful as it was under Dayball. So like I get it. I get that like the offense could improve, but like is Sean McDermott the guy to make that happen? And like they lost the game because there's 12 men on the field. The Broncos tried to lose the game, right? Like they missed a kick, and they're like, all right, look. We tried to give you this. Like, nope, 12 men on the field. And then the OC gets fired? Like, that makes no sense. Like, well, I guess he did. The Chiefs did drive down and score on them. Oh, wait, that wasn't the OC either. Like, what? Come on. Like, where's the, at some point.
Well, the idea is you should
responsibility for the defense failing.
You probably shouldn't have been in a situation where a field goal can beat you against the Broncos defense, right? Like, you should have been able to put up more points before that.
That is the point. And
there are turnover issues, but that's kind of like what you live with Josh Allen. There's good and bad there. If on top of that you're dealing with like stupid penalties and teams driving down the field on you very quickly and converting a bunch of third downs and you blitzing when you shouldn't be blitzing, like that's not on the OC.
I 100% agree with you. I don't want to dwell on this because I am just coming back up from my down of the mushrooms after a long time. I am just starting to feel better about myself. So we can.
Oh no, it was a terrible loss. Let's just keep dwelling.
Within 20 minutes, I'm crying talking about my dead father.
Oh God.
All right, let's move on. Allie.
All right, let's go to America's favorite QAnon quarterback, Aaron Rodgers. Do we feel like he really tore his Achilles? There's a lot of theories going on now. Do we think he's going to come back? A lot of Aaron Rodgers takes. Anyone want to start?
I do think it's fitting that Aaron Rodgers, he's never met a batshit crazy theory he didn't want to hear more about. Now people refuse to believe he tore his Achilles because listen, he signed a contract that gives a first-round pick if he plays a certain amount of games. But if he doesn't, and then he switches, and somehow this was all figured out ahead of time because of plans, and it's and the cabal. Don't forget about the cabal. I mean, this is the most like Rodgers thing ever. He wants you to talk about him every single day. And so he's like, oh, look at me, just kind of having fun out here. I'm just testing out my foot. Oh, you thought I shouldn't be able to be out here, but yet I am. That's kind of cool, huh? He just wants the attention. I think he might even play to get the attention. Will it go good? No, he'll look like super old. He's going to look like 80 years old out there, but he'll do it.
but is he still going to look better than Zach Wilson?
Yes,
I mean, yeah, he is.
much
He's
better.
gonna look like Joe Burrow the first 4 weeks, right? Like really quick passing, no movement, low A dot. It's not gonna be pretty. Burrow looks way better since he got healthy. It's gonna look like late stage Tom Brady, honestly, where it's just like I'm not gonna take any hits. I'm gonna get the ball out really quick. I'm gonna decide pre-snap, and the ball's gonna be gone immediately.
To Breece Hall, please.
I want to see him play this week. Like I'm ready for it.
No, 100%.
Yeah, I don't know. I think there are going to be people, just like there were people that were demanding to see Obama's birth certificate, that they're also going to be demanding to see Aaron Rodgers' medical records and see if it actually was a torn Achilles. Because there's no way, if it's a torn Achilles, you can come back in 3 months. I don't care. You shouldn't even be walking, right? I mean, we got the good old boy, Kirk Cousins. Okay, he's out doing a food drive and he's wearing his walking boot, right? I mean, what? You're tougher than Kirk Cousins because you can go out on the field and start tossing some no leg passes, right? Just
Kirk's
all
food
arms.
is huge. He's earning so much goodwill despite being in a big food.
When you just said no walking, do you guys remember Byron Leftwich at Marshall played on a broken ankle, and his linemen were carrying him to the snap every play? He'd put his arms around 2 linemen, they'd carry him. That's what Rodgers needs to do. He doesn't need to walk. He just needs to stand and then have his linemen carry him.
He just jumped on Breece Hall's back after every play. It's a piggyback ride. It's a piggyback ride to the line of scrimmage. Oh my God, so great.
So backpack Rodgers is, and he's coaching now on the sidelines too. I think that's a little too much, but
well, maybe they should fire him. Maybe that's the coach that needs to get replaced because it's not working. Zach Wilson's playing real bad.
Touche. All right, we are going to hopefully play a fun game. We're going to do a little fantasy scattegories. So I have a list of players. We're gonna mix them up and give you a word to play off of. So, for example, if I got well, let's see, who would I get? Jimmy G, and then I got the word candy. Jimmy G and candy. The candy that would describe Jimmy G for me is zebra gum because it's like too chew worthy and tastes like shit after a while. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna be very random, right? We're gonna
do we want to ahead of time? No, we shouldn't because the listeners will hear whatever. I just would say
let's just
okay. Go ahead.
We have a wheel we're gonna spin, right? We're gonna
Yep. I got a whole
just to get it going, we're gonna go Louis first.
Okay. What guy?
We're going to give you Jerry Judy.
Jerry Judy.
And we can spin this Microsoft Office wheel.
Let's see what I got here. Oh, come on. I literally, you know what? It's my show. I can do what I want. God damn
the fake audience really
wanted. I wanted anything but an actress here, but I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go with Jennifer Lawrence, which is just because she can't carry a blockbuster, and I feel like Jerry Judy is obviously a disappointment. I had some really, really good ones for every other category. I was like, I just don't want an actress, and then math can math, but whatever. Judy's a bust. Jennifer Lawrence, funny in her new Netflix movie though. If you haven't watched the new Netflix movie, it's fucking. She's good, but she can't.
What is that?
Carry a movie.
She can't carry. What about like the Hunger Games? That's just like shots fired at J-Law.
Oh, horrible movie. Horrible movie.
Oh, well, she's not in the new one. That's something
what is the new one? I don't know. It's some rom-com, but it's like it's a rom-com, but it's like really dirty. It's hilarious. It's like about her like trying to some kids' parents buy her to hook up with their 18-year-old virgin, and it's super raunchy, super funny. I'll give her that, but disappointing everywhere else. So she had she exactly like Jerry Judy. She had the one.
Yeah, this is like that one good Jerry Judy had.
She had the one good game, and everything else was sucked. That's it. All right, I got there.
There you go. You got it. There you go. No one believes you now. So, okay, the next that we're gonna do, we'll do Ryan, and Ryan, I'm gonna give you Bryce Young.
Okay.
In the wheel.
Is the wheel up? Sorry.
Yes.
Okay.
And you got body part. Okay.
These are good.
All right. So if Bryce Young was a body part, I think he would be the elbow, because if you break your elbow when you're a kid, I heard it stunts your growth, and you're also susceptible to like tendonitis and stuff with your elbow, and everything just feels like disjointed with that offense. It's like nothing looks easy, even simple passes. It's like he can't just get it settled down. So he's an elbow in a weird kind of way.
I respect it. That's
I like that. I don't hate that. Who's next?
we move. We're gonna go Pat, and we're gonna do Bijan Robinson, and then is that our pick? Will be drugs. We feel comfortable.
No. I accidentally spun it, but I'm spinning it now.
Okay. Hope you get drugs again, otherwise. All right. What's
Thanksgiving food.
All right, so Bijan Robinson is Thanksgiving food. Let's see.
Is it Fantasy's idea of Bijan, or is it Arthur Smith's idea of Bijan? Because those are very different.
Super important
Well,
question.
yes, that's what it is. So Bijan Robinson is the turkey, right? He's the centerpiece of the dish. But then what Arthur Smith did is he smoked the turkey, and the turkey needs to go outside. It's going to be outside for a long time where I can see the turkey for a while. It's getting smoked. And then when you have the turkey, you're like, I don't know how much of this turkey I can actually eat because it's very smoky now. I was pretty sure this turkey was going to be the whole fucking point of this meal. And now I'm not sure about that anymore.
Now I'm not sure anymore.
No, I'm not sure. That's great. That's a good one. All right. Who's
next?
Ben
We'll go Ben, and Ben, I'm going to give you Calvin Ridley.
Okay.
All right.
And let's see this. Very exciting spin. Okay, we're gonna go drugs.
Calvin really would drugs.
I mean, Louis mentioned him earlier. I'm gonna go shrooms because I don't know what the fuck is going on with Calvin Ridley.
That's great.
I'm hallucinating his stat lines at this point. Like I don't know what is happening with Calvin Ridley.
Fair enough.
If I did get Calvin Ridley, I had muscle relaxers because like everybody tells you they're good, but they never do shit. You know, like
this time like, they will.
Yeah, this time my back won't hurt. But yeah, that's great. Okay.
All right, we're gonna go back to you, Louis. We're gonna give you Dalton Schultz.
All right, Dalton Schultz. You got 4 categories left here. Let's see.
Type of relative. I don't know why I said I'm really sorry. That's weird.
Yeah.
I'm really.
I'm gonna go with here. Like a great grandma. Like never really adds anything. Like you're always glad to see her. Like at the holidays and everything, but she doesn't add anything to the party. She's just sitting there in the fucking corner drinking her wine. You know, like, and then when she's gone, you don't like if you lost her to like injury or death in this way. You don't miss her. She's not like, oh my god, I can't believe I fucking lost great grandma. Like whatever, the $5 at Christmas is gonna fucking break me. So I feel like great grandma, someone I can live without, is really what I want to go here. So I'll do that.
Are you Dalton Kincaid fan?
This is Dalton Schultz, not Kincaid.
Oh, Dalton Schultz! I thought this was Dalton Kincaid. I was like, what are you doing?
No, Dalton Kincaid's daddy, baby.
Oh, okay. This all makes a lot more sense to me.
Okay, Dalton Schultz. I like Kincaid.
Next up is Ryan with Dalton Kincaid. And if you can remember everything Louis just said, you're free to take the great grandmother route. Let's give it a nice spin. Give you Dalton Kincaid and things at a state fair.
Okay. I'll say Dalton Kincaid is a funnel cake because he's delicious and he deserves to get funneled a lot of targets. I think he deserves to just get peppered or funneled with targets, and they're not doing that. They are, I guess, more so the past 2 weeks, but we'll see what Joe Brady does in the next couple of weeks. So I take back the delicious part. I just funnel cakes are delicious.
I've already clipped that. That's already on Twitter.
That's legitimately going to be the Twitter clip today.
You know what I meant. It's just the funnel cake part. But.
Your kids are mortified the next. Okay. And then let's go, Pat. I'm going to give you Charbonnet. We'll give it a little spin. The anticipation, everyone. All right. If he was a song.
Zach Charbonnet is the song. I don't know. He'd be like one of those songs from like the late 90s that you're like an Eve 6 song, you know, remember that song? You're like, oh, this is a pretty good song. But then like you're like, all right, actually, I'm totally fine. I don't need to hear this anymore ever again. Put Kenneth Walker back out there. He's explosive. This is way more fun. Or pass. We can pass too. But don't put that song back on.
As soon as it gets played too much, you're like, oh yeah, it's not great. It's not.
He's a Wonderwall.
He's a Wonderwall. Yeah,
he's definitely a Wonderwall. All right, that leaves the last one. Ben with who?
Sam Howell. And type of
Sam. What type of weapon Sam Howell is? I mean, I'm a Sam Howell truther, so I might just go with like an atomic bomb. Like he's about to, you know. No, he's Sam Howell is.
That's perfect because you're the cowboy from what's that fucking movie that everyone
Toy Story.
Fucking movie called. No, you ride the bomb down. Dr. Strangelove. Dr. Strangelove.
Oh, I was way off.
Sam Howell is nunchucks. Because I mean, they're interesting. I'm really intrigued by them. I'm not exactly sure what they do, but like they're gonna cause some damage. That's for sure.
That's a perfect. He is nunchucks dude. Because sometimes he whacks himself in the face.
Exactly. This is a little bit out of control. We don't really know what's gonna happen here.
I have Howell is like my hope here to go from 42-1 because I had Anthony Richardson on that BBM team and I only have Howell and Pickett left, so I need some more spike weeks from Howell. So I hope he's the atomic bomb. But all right, that was fun. That was like really good. You guys did great without being, you guys just jumping in like that. It was awesome. All right, we're gonna just do a quick 4 more rounds and then.
Name how many Daltons you guys know. Okay. Okay, perfect. All right, week 11, cats and dogs.
Trying to get our 2 boys ready to carry them to golf tournament before practice, right? 12 cats live across the road. Our door's open. Screen's broke. We need to get a new screen door, but the screen's broke. So you can come in through the screen, but you can't get back out of it. I turn and look, there's a little kitty cat in our kitchen. So I said, what are you doing in here, little kitty cat? By that time, the cat turns, tries to get back out. That screen won't go that way. Cat starts going, meow, all crazy. And I told our players, we need more dogs. Bo's barking in the back. I have to go shut Bo up. Mel's like, what's going on? I said, there's a cat in the house. Cat in the house? I said, yeah, there's a cat in the house. So I told our players, I tried to let it out the front door. Meow, meow, the cat's still going crazy in there. And I told our players, you need to be more like a dog. We don't need a bunch of cats in here looking in the mirror. Do I look good? I got my extra bands on. I got my other shoes on. Be a dog. We don't need no meows. We don't need no cats. We need more dogs.
I've never heard that clip. That's fantastic.
I think maybe 4 or 5 years ago, some kind of college football, but yeah, it's awesome.
That's amazing.
Next
if you told me that they took that man straight to an insane asylum, I wouldn't be surprised. He had lost it.
He wasn't the coach. He just climbed up behind the podium, and everyone's like, "What's this guy talking about?"
You can actually hear chatter where they're like, "Who the fuck is this guy?" He's not the coach.
Next week, we're just going to edit that so we hear Ryan's voice say delicious.
Oh, man.
Perfect. So this week's cats and dogs. Does anyone want to volunteer first?
Good. Go ahead, Brian. Ryan, go ahead. You start us.
All right. So we're gonna give both our dogs and cats, I guess, at the same time, right? So
Yeah.
I'll go dog first. I'm gonna go with one Ty Chandler at the Broncos. So last week, obviously, between Murray and Cook, when our running backs were not fumbling the ball, they still also ran the ball for 21 times for 77 yards. Ty Chandler had 15 touches last week, and he was already getting involved before Madison went down with the concussion. So unless you're Brock Purdy, you're very unlikely to start the next week game if you enter the concussion protocol within the week. So with just Nwangwu, who I know you're a big fan of, Louis behind him, and Gaskin maybe even contributing. I think they're going to give the ball a lot to Chandler. He might have 20 touches this week, and has probably a pretty good chance of hitting with what his projections are right now. So he's my dog of the week. My cat of the week is Saquon Barkley, and it seems probably kind of obvious, right? You have Tommy DeVito at quarterback. He's got a lingering ankle issue, and the team is just absolutely heading nowhere. The offensive line is garbage. He is the only part of that offense at this point, and teams are just going to be able to hone in on him. So even against a plus matchup with the Commanders, I just don't see Saquon paying off his where he's projected right now. So I think those are my picks. Ty Chandler is the dog, and cat is Saquon Barkley.
Great. Is any Will, Ben, or Pat? Do you guys have one or?
I had one, but it was Ty Chandler. So now I'm working on figuring out a new one.
I've got one. I'll say Jacoby Myers, who has been kind of thoroughly displaced as the number two. Well, not as the number two, but for a lot of the season it was Devontae Adams, Jacoby Myers kind of stunningly having similar target shares and stuff. And then Antonio Pierce comes in and kind of obviously is like, hey, let's get Devontae Adams the ball. And that makes a lot of sense. But I think Jacoby Myers, it's maybe been a little bit underrated how good of a season he's had. He's crushing in ESPN's open score. And now they're in a matchup where the Dolphins should be putting up points against them. And we could kind of see more overall passing volume than we've seen under Pierce, who has been very conservative in his play calling. If they air it out a little bit more, the fact that Myers is getting open should draw targets his way, and we'll remember that he's having a pretty good year. And then I keep forgetting my cat, which is fitting. You may have to come back.
I can't remember again.
You got a cat ready? Go ahead. You guys can bounce back and forth.
I think people are getting excited about Najee Harris again. He's actually been a lot better since the bye the last few weeks. But I mean, at Cleveland, very low total. I do think people are going to talk themselves into him a little bit because Cleveland obviously doesn't have Deshaun. They're going to be starting Dorian Thompson-Robinson, and I mean, they're kind of expecting that Pittsburgh's going to have more possessions and those types of things. They ran a lot more last week. Their run rate, the passer over expected a lot lower than it has been in any other game this year. But Warren still played half the snaps. He was actually more efficient overall. Harris looks good. I do think Cleveland ends up winning that game in Cleveland. I don't think there's going to be as much overall rushing volume. I think they had 32 rushes between the two of them last week. So yeah, I got Harris as a guy to avoid coming off a little bit of a positive run where people are getting a little more excited about Pittsburgh running the ball a little bit more, things like that. And I have a new dog. You guys got it as dogs. We're a cat family, so the cats are the good ones over here. But
that's why you guys need more dogs. That's what I'm hearing. You guys need more dogs. That's pretty good.
I'll pivot to Keaton Mitchell. I think Keaton Mitchell only got 4 touches last week, 2 more 30-plus yard gains, is going to have to get more work. They're playing the Bengals, who just gave up 150 rushing yards to Devin Singletary, which I'm not going to look this up, but that's definitely the first time he's ever ran for 150 yards in a game. Don't fact check me on that. It's a certainty. And so if Mitchell gets a little more run, matchup certainly exploitable. Dude had a 60 and a 40-yard run in his first game in 10 overall touches, 2 30-plus yard gains in his second game and only 4 touches total. The big key for me was in the first game where he got a little extra run in that blowout over Seattle. They still had Justice Hill at a 61% snap share. He was still kind of doing a lot of stuff in little things, playing on passing downs. Last week, he fell all the way down to about a quarter of the snaps, right around where Keaton Mitchell was. I think they were planning to use Mitchell a little bit more. The game script, some of the stuff in the second half didn't really play out well. Ended up being a crazy game against Cleveland last week. Pick sixes, all sorts of stuff. But I do think he plays more this week, and I think we see him exploit that Bengals rush D. So that'll be a fun one.
I was going to say, this one's so obvious, but it's like, it's so obvious, but no one wants to say it anymore because it's getting scary because Noah Brown has like 300 yards over the last 2 weeks. But I'm going to say Noah Brown because he's got this insane yards per target. He's got a 16.3 yards per target, which is like the highest you'll ever see for a guy who's got like a regular average depth of target. And basically he's like he's getting like mediocre target volume. And every time he gets targeted, he does something awesome, which good for Noah. But I'm not banking on that, especially because we have Robert Woods, Tank Dell, Nico Collins, and Noah Brown can all healthy this week. Plus Dalton Schultz, RIP, is there as well. So it's just a lot of targets to go around.
Yeah, that's true.
Did great grandma pass away?
Great grandma's gone. Listen, I'm a big Dalton Schultz truther, so I didn't love that comparison.
Yeah, you clearly love him, dude. You're like, I don't want to ever talk to him, and I hope he's out of my life as soon as possible.
Also, do you hate your great grandma? Oh, you love her.
Yeah.
You sit to the corner. No one talks to her. Everyone wonders why she's there. We put our coats on her head, and we just kind of like.
All you get is maybe $5, maybe.
Listen, I loved great grandma too. I just didn't need her forever. Like I knew there was going to be the day. Listen, dude, old people get old. Everybody relax. All right, listen,
like that was why. Okay.
I didn't need her forever.
I didn't need her forever. She got a life, Louis. She's a person. It's not about you, dude.
Happy Thanksgiving, everyone.
You know,
Let's talk what we're grateful for.
She didn't understand inflation. I got $5 from every Christmas from fucking 1984 to 1994. Fucking throw a couple extra dollars in there, you bitch.
Okay, now we're gonna bring on the guy that took over Louis' fantasy in Vegas. Let's bring Nick on. Everyone, no. All right.
Wait, I got a cat and a dog. Don't leave me alone, or don't lose it. All right.
Sorry for your loss.
Yeah, do not cross Louis. Yeah. Do not.
My cat of the week is going to be Mostert, and that's really just trying to be very optimistic about what Achan's going to do this week. I hope Achan goes for 350 yards rushing and 200 yards receiving, and Mostert dies on has to watch.
A lot of death on this podcast.
I told you I did mushrooms. I'm really like just trying to get to know myself. My dog of the week. It was funny. I was considering going Noah Brown, which is opposite to Pat, but I'm gonna go Tyler Boyd. He just always kind of shows up against the Ravens. He always has big games against them. Higgins is out. I think this is going to be a little bit more high scoring of a game than these games have been in the past. Both offenses are playing better than they have in the past. I'm actually excited tomorrow for some offense, and I think it's going to be Thursday nights are always a little scary when it comes to fantasy. I'm excited tomorrow to be a little bit different than what we expect. I'm going to probably be on the over pretty hard. So I like Boyd there.
That's a good take. I like that.
Yeah, thank you, Allie.
All right, now
yeah, were you sleeping?
I'm just so sad about the loss in your family.
We all are.
I know. Oh yeah. We now have 0 listeners, so thank you guys. Let's look ahead to Thursday night football. I know you guys. Is that what we're doing?
Yeah, I got it. Yeah.
I know you guys. If you like to talk about who some of your props are for this week, any takes? Not takes. Second. This sounds like I didn't prepare, but I promise you this is real.
I didn't.
Okay.
We do on Ship Chasing Thursday Night Football. We do our big pick'em sweat every week, You would think that 24 hours before the game, we would have done some research, talked through this, thought about it. We meet up a few hours before the game in Discord and then just start throwing shit at the wall and then figure it out there. I like the Tyler Boyd take. I'm going to be pitching Pat and Pete on that tomorrow. Pat, have you looked at anything else for this game?
Well, I'll say the Bengals are a bit of a pass funnel, so I think we're going to want to play this a little bit through the Bengals kind of passing. They've been very aggressive since Burrow's gotten back to full health, so I think even with Higgins out, we're going to be kind of eyeing up some of the overs on receptions and that type of stuff.
Little Boyd, Keaton Mitchell, mini correlation there.
I'm into that. One of the things that I highly recommend for sweat equity is depending on how much you like the quarterback, okay? If you don't like the quarterback, you want attempts. Attempts is a great sweat if you, for instance, have Bryce Young. And we this is me needling Ben right now because we had an argument about a quick argument at halftime about whether to take attempts or completions on Bryce Young. And watching Bryce Young just throw it at dudes' feet when you have attempts is way better than when you have completions. So with Burrow, though, you can think about completions, but also first downs. First downs is always a nice sweat equity. I have no idea what the line's going to be on that, so I'm not recommending the over or the under there. But just from the pure watching the game and seeing a first down be completed, it's pretty fun. So first down's over. If you're breaking ties, I'd always break ties towards a first down over.
Hey, Pat, did our Bryce Young completions over hit? I can't remember.
It did hit, but the attempts hit first, so I was right.
I might be misguided here, but I think he did remember. I
think he's pulling our leg.
I'm not calling him a liar, but I think he knew that answer. I'm glad that you guys came up with that. Allie, just for you, because you said we lost all of our listeners. Look at Grandma Rant was awesome. Some people liked it.
That was from Louis' burner account named Ken.
I'm very original. Rye, do you have a pick 'em for?
I have two I liked that I looked in advance of today. Tank Dell over 52.5 yards. I still think. I mean, he's hit over 52 and a half. I think in all but 2 games this year. One was his first game of the season as a rookie. We know that typically as the season goes on, rookies continue to produce. Stroud's going to be passing a lot. They're playing Arizona. It's got a chance for a pretty high total, at least on the Houston side. So I'd take the over on his receiving. And I'd also take the over on CMC's receiving yards. He's at, this kind of surprised me, setting it at 31.5. So maybe it's a trap. But, to me, that seems like an easy smash. He's the last 2 games he had, I think, 10 targets and 11 targets for 6 and 7 receptions. So, just on the catches alone, if he falls forward on a couple of them, he should be able to get to 31.5 yards. So I'd take the over on both.
Ryan, you're one of the smartest people I know. And there's like this big headline right below you that says Thursday night football pick.
No, but he's a patient man. He's patient. He takes his pick'ems on Thursday night, but then he waits till Sunday.
Hey, I like them both. I'll play them now just because I made fun of you. Now I have to play them.
Yeah, exactly.
But, and it's so funny that I called the game that I called here and giving you this pick 'em. I think it's going to be a high scoring game. I promoted Boyd a little bit here, but I kind of like the under on Chase's receptions. Like he's going to be able to make the big play, obviously. And he's a little banged up. I wouldn't want to do yards, but 7 receptions is a lot against that Baltimore D. And I think that they're going to end up spreading the ball out a little bit. I think I'm on under 7 for Chase. So that's I'm playing the Boyd overs, but I don't want to just kind of ride what Ben said. So I think Chase under could be fun, but I hate doing that if I'm riding it's just weird correlation to fade him and be all about Boyd. But I'll be on Boyd probably more so than being fading Chase. But that's it. Are we ready for a fun draft?
Let's do it.
Ready.
Let's do it.
To play off of Pat winning last year which nothing's wrong with you. Like I think you handled it well. You're not boisterous. You're not
this is a
annoying.
fun category to play off me winning.
Yeah.
What's it called?
No,
What's the category?
but
Undeserving winner. That's
but I will say that.
But Pat, nothing's wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with you.
Nothing's wrong with me, but this is related to you, and the category is called undeserving winners.
Other than that,
I think everybody liked seeing you win, but I'm sure that there's some haters. Now, I am going to make sure everybody fucking hates me before I win. I am tweeting out daily. I have literally trolled everybody. Literally the first time that Underdog tweeted me as first place, underneath, like, there was just 100 fucking people being like, yeah, good luck fucking doing this for 14 weeks. Like, shut up, dude. So I trolled every single one of them and just responded to everyone. I want everyone to hate me. It's just dumb shit. They're just all like, everybody's just like, yeah, there's no way. Yeah, of course, it's week 5, you assholes. But I'm like, literally every week I'm tweeting like a new house that I'm like spending my money on. Like, I am already spending my money in my head. Like, I am close to bankruptcy. I hate my business. I hate everything. I'm like, I might go bankrupt every day, but I'm like, I got that 3.5 million. I got 3.5 million coming. So everything is going to be better. Like, my literally, this is so, I should not say this on podcast, but I'm going to. Ellie knows this. I went through a separation. My wife recently was all like, hey, maybe we should get back together. And I'm like, maybe we should, but can we just wait 3 months? I'm just not sure until I see how the season plays out. Maybe I'll need the financial help. But right now, I think I'm gonna be okay.
Oh God, listener!
Wow, that was true love.
In on this, if you want.
Yeah, you guys meant to be clearly. Oh shit!
Her and my great grandma just.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Allie.
I was going to say, listener Ken, who has been writing in on comments, feel free to just continue on now roasting Louis if you want. Wow.
Okay.
Do you want me to do the order?
Did we just witness a car crash? Is this what's
You want me to do the randomized order?
Yeah, please.
All right, fine.
That needs to be clipped. That was that's the most shocked I've ever been on a live stream.
And also, he's going to spend 3 months spending $3.3 million, by the way.
Yeah. I'm currently negative 2.25 million. I really need this. All right.
The American dollar is not that strong anymore, so thank you.
All right, here's the order. Ryan, number 1. Lou, number 2. Ben, number 3. Allie, number 4. Pat, number 5, and then you'll spin around. We're going to do 4 rounds if you guys are okay with that. I know we're running a little bit late, but it'll be about 20 minutes probably. You guys okay?
Yeah.
All right. Let's roll. Who was first? Ryan.
All right. Well, I was going to pick Lou, but he hasn't won yet, so I can't pick him. So I'm going to go with the 1999 Dallas Stars. Okay. And this is a homer pick right here. No goal. I was at that game with my family, and I was, I think, 1999. I was 10 years old at the time. So I was in tears on the way home, finding out that, the goal shouldn't have counted and the foot was in the crease. And then it kind of just like shaped my entire Buffalo sports existence, up until current to this day. So that is very, it was a really difficult way to start your sports fandom, and taking the Stars as the least deserving champs of all time.
I knew that was going to come up in a Buffalo podcast. I like that. I was going to avoid it, but I don't hate it. But with the second pick here, I didn't want to get all political, but we all know this one's the obvious one. Rand fucking Stark should have not gotten the fucking throne. That dude was such a loser. And there was like 20 other people on Game of Thrones that should have gotten the throne. I could name Almost every there's characters that died in season 1. I want Ned to have came back. I wanted Ned's ghost to come back and be on the throne over Bran Stark. I am so pissed off with how that show ended. So
But
I'm going to go
can't
Bran
be the way
Stark.
the books would have ended had they ever been finished. I know that technically
Right?
they
Like,
could still be finished, but they're not going to be.
No, but I hope that it could have been changed in the books, but for the TV show, that was
So bad.
disappointing.
So bad.
This is where Louis tells you when the last book he's read. Louis
was actually never mind. I'm not going to make this show anymore.
4th grade.
Sarah Plain and Tall. All right.
This is back when Pizza Hut used to give those book report club memberships.
What was the magazines that the school used to send you home with? Scholastic, where you like circled 3 and like we didn't even have the 75 cents to like send in for it, so I couldn't get any. All right, go ahead.
Okay, so
If your great grandma wasn't so damn cheap.
R.I.P.
R.I.P.
That's why you're so tilted.
Thanks, great grandma. That's why I'm illiterate. I
can't read.
Thank you. Thanks for my GED, great grandma. If you would have just given me $7, I could have gotten a couple extra books. All right, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Ellie.
No, I think is it Ben?
Yeah, it is Ben.
Okay.
But I'm just saying, go ahead.
Well, first of all, I know my audience. This is a Buffalo pod. I heard this question and started lining up all of Tom Brady's wins. The first one for me is the Tampa Bay one. The first round of of the playoffs that year, they went to Washington. I think Washington was like 7-9, right? Like the NFC East was horrible. They were like 10-point road favorites. They didn't cover, but they won. Taylor Heineke was starting this game and had the ball in the fourth quarter, down like 4 points, could have beat the Bucks. Their defense gets a stop. Next week, it was historically weak NFC for this run. It was Drew Brees' final game. Couldn't throw the ball more than 10 yards downfield. But the Saints were winning, and he hit Jared Cook for a first down, crossing midfield in the middle of the third quarter. Jared Cook gets stripped. They run it back like deep into scoring range. They score a touchdown, and it kind of changes the whole thing. The Saints were about to go up 2 scores in the third quarter, probably could have gone on to win. The worst was the NFC Championship against the Packers. Right before the half, Brady hits a defender right in the chest, and he drops the ball. A couple plays later, he gets like that 40-yard pass TD to Scotty Miller. And then on the other side of half, everyone talks about the 8 minutes, right? The 4 minutes before half, 4 minutes after half. It's really the 1 minute before and after. First minute of the second half, Aaron Jones fumbles on the first snap. They score a quick touchdown. The Bucks, I'm pretty sure, scored 3 points the rest of the game after that point, but they got those 2 touchdowns right before the half, right after the half. Packers pretty much controlled the game the rest of the way. That was the famous 4th and 7, kicked a field goal, pissed off Aaron Rodgers, Matt LaFleur, really should have went for it game. Bucks end up getting by and winning that game. They go to the Super Bowl. They pretty much beat the Chiefs pretty fair and square, but also got a lot of favorable stuff in the first half of that game. They had a field goal where Mecole Hardman went off sides and extended the drive, ended up getting a touchdown. They had a personal foul on Chris Jones on a third down stop that would have been a punt. It was just like the type of stuff that interior linemen do after plays 12 times a game, but they threw a flag and gave them a first down. They had, before halftime, they were trying to run out the clock. KC's using timeouts, and then they go deep and they get the DPI and they get a touchdown there. Every one of those games, the Bucks arguably could have lost. They go on a 4, and then everyone's like, Brady's the GOAT because he goes to Tampa Bay and wins the Super Bowl. I've had enough of it. He's not that good.
You definitely know your audience. That's a good one. Pat for Chew or no, Ellie?
It's me. So also, since we're doing a sports podcast, I'm going to pick Doug from the cartoon Doug Funny, because in a world where everyone is multicolored, you're the only dork that's Caucasian color. What a dork. Your best friend is blue, the bad guy is green, and you're Caucasian color. You could not have the title credits of your TV show. You have a girlfriend, but the bad guy has nothing. Doug is a noodle. Should have been. I said it.
Quickly in high school, everybody called me Doug Funny because I have a big nose, and they all thought I was like. And when I would come into when I would come into like the cafeteria for lunch, everybody would be like, "Dude."
Oh.
And it was, I mean, I embraced it, but it was a little hurtful now looking back.
Yeah. The PP
Looking back, I'm traumatized.
Looking back, I'm gonna need some therapy.
Yeah, very good. All right, and Pat, you've got 2.
I'll start with Trent Dilfer. This guy won a
There you
Super
go.
Bowl.
That's on my list.
That's a good one.
That's a snipe. That's a snipe.
Trent, I can't believe I sniped you. That's amazing. I actually moved him up. I had him low, and I was like, I need to get Dilfer taken care of. So Trent Dilfer had. Now this is like a big no-no. You're not supposed to do analysis like this because you can't compare eras. But I'm going to do it anyway because I'm trying to make a point. In 2000, when this dude won a Super Bowl, he had an adjusted yards per attempt of 5.5. That's where it factors in touchdowns, interceptions into the yards. 5.5 is real bad. You know who has 5.5 this year? Mac Jones and Zach Wilson. That's the exact level of quarterback play that is. Don't worry about the error adjustments, okay? It's the same. And this guy won a Super Bowl. You got a Super Bowl ring. Now we have to listen to him talk and say stuff on ESPN. Give me a break. That's it.
That's good.
Brandon Stokely scored a touchdown in that Super Bowl. Like what? Brandon Stokely?
Yeah.
When it's talking about Caucasian, like what is this guy catching Super Bowl touchdowns in the Super Bowl for?
Oh, I'm up again. All right, am I up again?
Yeah, you got the double. Yep.
All right, this is not going to be sniped. So, well, actually, you know what? This has a small chance of being sniped. It's pretty much 0, but I'm still going to do it. Forrest Gump, 1994 Oscar winner.
No joke. Not even kidding.
Oh, another snipe!
Another snipe! Yes.
2 snipe.
Getting that over Pulp Fiction is just wrong.
There you go.
Okay.
There you go.
Wow.
Wait, is that it? That's what you were doing?
That's it.
Oh
That's
my
what
god,
I was
that's
doing.
great.
It's a nice little movie, but come on, what are we doing?
Do I go for my movie before someone takes it? Because I have a film that. Ooh.
Maybe.
You better go. You better get
Okay, I'm going 2001. Never forget. Academy Awards. The film that won was Chocolat, which like get over yourself. But the clear winner should have been Gladiator.
Oh yeah,
Like it.
for sure.
Yeah.
No,
Okay.
I'm with you there. No, that's a good one.
Aaron
That's-
Brockovich was in that, but Chocolat. Come on. All
No,
right.
come on.
Oh, I really.
Gladiator.
Gladiator.
is one of the most rewatchable movies of that whole era.
No one even knows who was in Chocolat, who made it, what it's about. That movie doesn't
I'm
even
pretty
exist.
sure it's about
Gladiator.
chocolate, dude.
Everyone else has rewatched Gladiator for 20 years.
Yeah, I know.
Man,
Chocolate.
I always
Say it,
referred to it as chocolate. So
Dude,
No,
okay.
I'm learning.
Can
so
you
much.
read?
I am learning so much today.
Yeah.
Who's
All right, and then we've got Ben. Back to Ben, right?
back to me.
next?
I'll go to the mid 1990s Houston Rockets because Michael Jordan retired, and now you go and you win
wow.
2
Good
championships. No one actually thinks that's real. No one that's not validated. The best basketball player in the world at the time, in the middle of his prime, was too good for the league. He had so clearly exerted his dominance. He was like, I'm going to go play minor league baseball for a little bit. His dad got murdered. Kind of a sad story, right? But his dad wanted him to play baseball. So he goes, he plays minor league baseball, and he's like, you guys can fight it out for a couple years in like the minor league NBA playoffs. Houston Rockets win a couple of titles. Nobody thinks those are real. Obvious Michael Jordan asterisk on those 2.
I too know what it's like to suck at something that your dad wanted you to do after he dies because he gave me his business.
We're learning a lot. You guys need to rename the show Therapy Hour with Louis G.
Oh, it's always therapy hour here. It's always therapy hour. I just carry it over.
Wednesday wisdom.
I am gonna go here with Nancy Kerrigan, and you guys are gonna be like, "Wait, what? why not Tanya Harding? Because she was the bad guy. No, fuck that. She was laying at why me? Why me? That's gonna be my American hero? Are you kidding me? She got hit with a billy club. What is this? A 1920s comedy slapstick? Like, grow up. You're not my American hero. Go and win the gold. Don't look at me like that, Ellie. I see you judging me, but she was 100% annoying. Tanya Harding was like, I could get down with Tanya Harding. She was real. She was trailer
Never
trash.
heard a Team Tanya take.
Yeah.
Do you want it to be
Tanya.
I Nancy? Like, what's like
Yes,
how much greater?
Yes. Listen, I, Tanya was one of the most underrated movies
All
of
right.
our generation. But also, yeah, no, Nancy was, she didn't deserve to win. She deserved the Billy Cup.
I don't think she won.
She didn't win, right?
She ended up winning.
Because of what
She ended up
happened.
winning something. She ended up winning something. She
Not
won
your
it.
heart.
America's all right. Okay. All right. Controversial. We'll take it. Ryan, you've got a
For
double.
two.
I'm up for 2. Okay. So first pick was Dallas Stars 1999. I'm going to stay in the state of Texas and take the 2017 Houston Astros winning the World Series.
Good one.
Look,
Mhm.
definition of undeserving, right? You're cheating, and they proved that you were cheating, and they just put away draft picks and find the club, and that's it, really. So
That was them banging on the trash can in the clubhouse.
Yeah, no, I was like, Grandma, is that you?
the name being tarnished. So yes, Houston Astros, and then because my movie pick was sniped by Pat, I'm going to go with my next choice, which is Average Joe's Gym in dodgeball. Okay, everyone forgets. People forget that they barely won the regional because Bernice took the bear tranquilizer. They hardly got out of the regional, tournament. So, Average Joe's Gym, Globo Gym, I think was much more talented. And they had Blazer and Phaser and Taser and all types of other guys named Azer. So yeah, I'm going to take Average Joe's Gym. Really was kind of a fluke if we break it down. I mean, come on. We have Ben,
Somehow
Ben
not that
Stiller.
controversial after the Nancy Kerrigan take.
Listen, after Ryan Fay was on with you, there is no controversial takes on this podcast.
That's true.
I'll say I did forget they barely made it out of the regional. I mean, people do forget that. That's a
That
good.
is true.
That's a
Yeah,
good
Thank
point.
you.
That's true.
That's great. Back to me, right? I'm gonna go with Jethro Tull winning the first ever hard rock or metal Grammy. And like they didn't totally mess it up. Like the Academy didn't mess it up, or whoever votes on the Grammys didn't mess it up. Metallica, AC/DC, Jane's Addiction, and Iggy Pop were also in the same group with this band that played the flute. How the fuck did like I might be aging myself in this group. I think I'm the oldest out of us all, but like they played a really strong flute solo. They weren't rock or metal, and they beat Metallica and AC/DC. I want a revote now. I want everybody to come back and vote for that and pay for their mistake.
All right, is that back over to me?
Back to you, Ben.
I'm gonna keep playing into my audience. I'm gonna say the 1990 Giants wide right versus the Bills was a Scott Norwood. Bills deserved it. That's all I got. You guys know the story. I don't think I need to explain to you what happened.
You're very pro
no.
Bills, Ben, today. So, do you want a job as the offensive coordinator for?
We're hiring.
Yeah, spots open. Well said. I'm going to go with the characters that make me the most dry out of any film, and that's Grandpa Joe and Charlie Bucket from Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. I don't get how Charlie wins the factory, but like, where did Grandpa Joe go? And then also, like, just the most hateable characters in film, I think, was Charlie Bucket and Grandpa Joe. Yeah, that's all I have to say about that.
So you didn't find endearing that he just doesn't eat candy while in the candy shop the whole time?
It's just like again, another noodle. Like, come on, dork.
Just try something.
Break the rule.
Yeah, and also was it like the guy following him was it the Soviet Union? Like, what was that theme? No one ever talks about that.
But also, he didn't report Willy Wonka to anybody after this. There was like some really fucked up shit going on in that place. Like, he just got out and was just like, "My life's normal." No, dude. Report this.
That's true. Like, if Charlie starts running shit, like, we're all fucked. Like, this guy has no ethical. He's got no morals. We're screwed.
Like, fat guys fucking drown in chocolate.
Just watched it happen.
Yeah, absolute power corrupts absolutely. So go down. All right. And Pat, I think you're final two.
Yeah. So I was so excited that I sniped Ryan that I actually forgot to mention, in addition to Pulp Fiction, Shawshank Redemption that same year, 1995.
Whoa.
So I mean, come on, what are we doing with Forrest Gump? Okay, I'm going to go to Max Verstappen. I don't know what audience I'm playing to now because basically essentially no one. This is just for me. Max Verstappen wins in 2021. He wins the F1 championship, drivers' championship, and it's on just absolute total bullshit skirting of the rules where they like change up the rules during the final lap of the race to like let Verstappen have enough laps so that he can pass Lewis Hamilton. And the only way he can win is if he passes Lewis Hamilton in this race. And they just like literally changed three things. Then later they did a report of like what happened. And they said it was like human error led to the decisions, meaning none of this is valid or legitimate. And then after they basically, because F1's a dumb sport where like they just are like, whatever, who really even cares who wins, you know? So they it's like give him the championship because he won the championship that day. And then they never changed it. So afterwards, it comes out that in addition to all this stuff, his team spent too much money on the car. They had gone over the cost cap on that car. And then they were like, geez, guess you probably have like a minor penalty 3 years from now. But that championship that you totally cheated to win, still yours. Just absolute bullshit. The guy should be stripped of his championship. If this was a real American sport, never would have won.
Ooh, a little Barry Bonds action. All right. So Ryan actually took my two. I really wanted Brett Hull to get bashed. So that and then so I guess I'm gonna go with my last pick, which is any winner from America's Got Talent. Like if you're a magician competing against a dog that plays volleyball, like what? How are you like? What is the scale of winning? I don't get it. It just who are these like weirdos in the audience again cheering for a magician over a dog playing volleyball? I don't get it. I don't see how anyone wins. It's no.
I love it. What's the scale? No one knows.
I will say this. Every comic that I've worked with that like was on America's Got Talent is they have that run for like 3 months where everybody's mom and dad want to come see them and then they're gone. I worked with Preacher Lawson like right after he won that show, and he was late to a show. I came on, I had to like open up for him. I was swearing, I did my regular set, like did all this stuff. I come off the thing, I was and introduced the next act, and I come out to the green room, and Preacher's like, "Oh, dude, you can't swear working for me." No one had told me. Like the GM of the club didn't tell me nothing. He's like, and I was like, "Are you joking with me? Like, are you fucking with me?" He's like, "No, like my audience is America's Got Talent and like fans, and they're all in their 50s and 60s, and they don't want to hear about your dick." Yeah.
I worked with Drew Lynch. Same. But they're I just don't get how like someone goes on, does like armpit fart noises, and they are the most talented person. It's such bullshit. I can't.
It's so good.
Okay, go on.
Who we at? Ben.
We're back. Yeah, Ben.
Back to me. You guys are way more cultured than me. I've been just a straight sports nerd with no other interest since I was like born. So I could do this for 20 rounds of sports teams. but I'm going to go again to my Buffalo audience. I'm just going to say all 6 of the Patriots Super Bowls are illegitimate. So you got obviously Spygate, you got the Deflategate, you got the tuck rule on the first one. They win their first 3 by a field goal each. Vinatieri kicks a couple. You got McNabb puking, giving you the game. Guy can't even keep his lunch in. Then more recent Super Bowls, you got run the ball Atlanta, like 28-3, just like put like Kyle Shanahan. Good Lord. You got run the ball, Pete Carroll, give the ball to Marshawn Lynch. Like, good Lord, what are we doing? Just handing them Super Bowls. You got Sean McVay having no answers. They lose 13-3 to a Vic Fangio defense they had played 2 months earlier versus the Bears and gotten shut down. They're like completely dominant offense all year long. Faced the defense that they ended up facing in the Super Bowl when Vic Fangio pulled it on them in like week 15. And he was like, you know what? This probably won't come back to bite us. Not even going to study any alternative ideas here. So that when Belichick pulls it out in the Super Bowl, they score 3 points. They got no answers for it 2 months later. I mean, every team they played gave them everything. Nonsense. Absolute nonsense. All of it. They cheated. It's all illegitimate.
I know somebody that's really trying to win this vote when we go to Twitter because Ben's gonna fucking smoke us like by 100%. If it's all Buffalo listeners, he's gonna smoke it. Everybody's just gonna see all the Tom Brady hate and just go there.
Ben's our new offensive coordinator. So seriously, welcome. You're fine.
I had a couple here that I wanted that I'm choosing between. I think I'm going to go with Buster Douglas. And again, I might be aging myself here, this crew, but that was like, he ruined Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson, I mean, just the aura, the everything. I mean, this was even before, or no, was this? Yeah, before the arrest, all this stuff. I mean, he was indestructible, this force. And he was an animal that was just unleashed, and Douglas, beats him and beats him soundly, but then his next fight, he loses it and he's, never heard of again. But the fact that it ended like one of the most dominant reigns, boxing hasn't been the same since Tyson stopped being dominant, and Buster Douglas is to blame for that. So fuck him. Is my
what's the story there? Didn't Tyson like get drunk or some shit, or like was partying?
He was drunk he was taking him non-serious. He gained like 20 pounds before the fight. He came into the fight like out of shape. This is a great part of that story that you guys might not know. They were so confident that they legitimately his corner did not have ice packs because they didn't think he would get banged up at all. So when his eyes started swelling, they literally had a latex glove and putting cold water in it and tying it up and trying to put it on his eye.
Oh my God.
So like if they literally had the proper equipment just in their corner and not even being that confident in his win, he probably has that vision in his eye at the end of the fight and maybe still wins. Because it was a close fight when he got knocked out in the 10th round. But they were so confident they didn't even have ice in his corner. I mean,
That's
they literally
crazy.
just thought it was going to be another. So it's
because he had knocked out like whatever 10 straight fighters in the first round.
This guy's a 40-1 underdog. The overweight journeyman, and it just, I don't know. At my age, I know I'm older than you, but at my age, I was young enough to be like, not that he was a hero, obviously, but he was indestructible. And then this guy comes and beats him and shows like the monster's done. And then like 10 years later, he's singing a song in The Hangover. Like, all right, you're different now. You're not the same monster I knew. So, but yeah, Buster Douglas is definitely the most undeserving champ of all time. He's actually probably responsible. He's probably the most responsible person in the world for Evander Holyfield losing his ear. He made Mike Tyson go nuts, right? He beat him, he makes that, and then the next fight, the fight that he loses the championship to, he loses to Evander Holyfield. So he gives Holyfield and Tyson the chance to fight. I'm going on record right now. Buster Douglas literally is responsible for Evander Holyfield not having an ear.
Everyone, please welcome QAnon. Eric Rodgers. Back to the show.
We did talk about right.
Conspiracy theories and sports. That's what we're doing.
All right, close the show, Ryan.
All right, Ryan.
My last pick is also going to have a Buffalo connection to try and steal some votes from our new offensive coordinator, Ben. But I'm going to go with the LA Rams in 2022. Now, look, they're a good team. McVay's a great coach, but that was the year the Bills would have won the Super Bowl. I mean, to me, I wasn't really. I mean, I was alive, but not really paying attention to sports at 1, 2, and 3 years old when the Bills Super Bowl run was going on. So that to me was like the first time I had seen a team where I was like, oh my God, this team has everything. Like everything is going their way. I think they would have just absolutely rolled through the Bengals the next round in the AFC Championship game, and I think they would have done the same to the Rams, but we'll never know. But I'm just going to go on record and say that they're undeserving, and I think the Bills were the best team that year. And just one other point on that. Look, we've seen now the Rams, like everything is just kind of falling by the wayside, right? That team was held together by like pins, one single safety pin, right? And everything out, players are gone, everything's falling apart. I think the Bills would have done it that year. So.
I think it's a strong take, and I mean, I know
like
I'm the offensive coordinator. I'm not biased here. I think it's a good take.
Even though I've just been hired to work for the organization, I'm not biased.
I'll say I never gave a fourth pick, and I'll just quickly say Mark Davis, Nepo baby owner, absolute dumpster fire franchise, and hires Josh McDaniels after John Gruden, and which one was worse? We could argue about that for a little while. So just come on, man, get a new haircut, and you're undeserving of winning that franchise as the owner.
Pat coming in at the end of the draft with one more pick is almost as awkward as the time that we went from Ryan talking about rape to Pat talking about the dodo bird. I
had to bring it up, dude. The mood was sinking. I had to bring up a fun little bird that died, it was extinction.
Pat has now been responsible for two of the best moments in draft history.
Thank you.
Allie, go ahead. Close the show.
Guys, Ben and Pat, thank you so much for joining us. Everyone, please check out Ship Chasing Podcast. You're going to be live tomorrow during Thursday Night Football, correct?
Yep.
All right. Thank you again for coming on, and hope to see you guys soon.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us. It was a blast.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.